Is there something that's bothering you right now? Have you been making dua for something? Maybe that's marriage and a child or work, and it just feels impossible and you think, how? How is that possible? Have you ever compared yourself to someone like, why do they have that and why don't I have that? If that's the case, then today's name is for you. Allah's beautiful name, Al-Wakeel, the trustee. Why is it that we're learning Allah's names? Because to know Him is to love Him. How can we claim we love someone we don't know? So each day we'll be learning one new name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in hopes that we will know Him, because once we know Him, we can't help but fall in love with Him. And once we fall in love with Him, the way we'll show up will be so much differently in our lives. We'll start to worship Him as though we can see Him. And ta'bud Allah ka'annaka tara, which is the highest level of Iman, the level of Ihsan. Bismillah, let's begin. Ibrahim alayhi salam was calling his people to Allah. That's what his mission was. As a result, his people turned their backs on him. Not just his people, but also his beloved family, his father. Think about how difficult that is. They fully outcasted him. They fully turned their backs on him. Not just turned their backs, they actually wanted to kill him. And not just kill him, they wanted to burn him alive. That's the worst way to die. It's such a humiliating way to die and such a cruel way to die. They built a massive fire purposefully so that they can watch Ibrahim burn. Subhanallah. Imagine how Ibrahim alayhi salam must have felt, to feel like the ones he loved want to kill him. The ones that he loved want to destroy him. How hard of a test that must have been. And so, subhanAllah, as they were catapulting him into the fire, Jibreel alayhi salam descends and he says to Ibrahim, do you need anything? He said, from you, no, but from Allah, yes. He says, Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel. It's such a beautiful dua. He's like, I have no one else but Allah, and He is the best trustee. He's the best one that I can depend on. And what does Allah do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed what fire is supposed to do. Fire is supposed to burn, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders the fire to do something different. He says, O fire, be cool and comforting for Ibrahim. It's so beautiful. Allah didn't say just be cool for Ibrahim. He said cool and comforting. What does that go to show? That he just went through a big emotional situation right now, Ibrahim. But be comforting for him. You know how when you go through something really big and you just need comfort and love? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides that for him in the fire. That's how Allah is so kind. He's Al-Wakeel. He's looking after our feelings as well. He's looking after Ibrahim physically, and he's looking after his emotions as well. Allah is such a kind Lord. So when we look at this beautiful example, we truly understand what it means to have Al-Wakeel, the trustee. So let me explain this a little bit more. When I was very, very pregnant and I needed to sell my car, I legally couldn't do anything. It's so hard for me to go out, meet people and sign if I wanted to change the contract to them legally. It was just so difficult. So my husband said to me, Hannah, make me your power of attorney for the car so I can just deal with all of the car matters for you. What does that mean? He can act on my behalf legally in everything regarding my car. And I remember we actually had to go and sit in front of a magistrate, and she had to ask me, yes, do you actually want to give the power of attorney to your husband? Do you understand what this means, etc., etc. If you're going to give away a matter over to someone, you're going to look for a couple of things: that they love you and they're acting in your best interest, and that they have the knowledge. And I knew my husband had both of those things, so it made logical sense that I give him the power of attorney. Now, to Allah is the highest example. Imagine we were to legally sign to Allah all of our matters. Ya Allah, the matter of my health, I sign it over to you. The matter of my wealth, Ya Allah, I don't know how I'm going to make my next dollar, I sign it over to you. Ya Allah, the matter of my daughter, Ya Allah, I sign it over to you. Ya Allah, the matter of my relationship, I sign it over to you. Imagine we were to sign over all of our matters to Allah. Wouldn't that be so relieving? And who better to sign over to than Allah Al-Wakeel? We know that no one loves you more than Him. So if you know someone cares about you, then you know they're going to act in your best interest. So Allah loves us more than anyone. He named Himself Al-Wadud. And we also know He's Al-Alim, right? He's the all-knowledgeable. He has all knowledge. So if we're going to give away our affairs to someone, our matters to someone, let's give it over to the one that loves us the most and has all knowledge and has access to all the resources, right? Allah is al-Malik. So this is just so comforting when we give over all of our matters of what's going to happen next and how am I going to get married and how am I going to have a child and how am I going to make my next dollar. It just lets us breathe and be in our present moment rather than stressing about all of the anxieties of the what ifs of the future. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْحَيِّ الَّذِي لَا يَمُوتُ. So put your trust on the living, the one that never dies. Who's he talking about? He's talking about himself. Allah doesn't die. Think about every creation in this world. Trees, animals, plants, human beings, we all die, right? Because we all have a certain time limit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never dies. So if we want to put our trust in someone, we put in our trust in someone that's everlasting, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does that mean? It means that we trust Allah without being attached to the outcomes because we know He's acting in our best interest. We know that He's got our backs. Think about it. People forget. People forget about what's important to you, what you need. You might have to request something a couple of times to remind them, but Allah never forgets. How many du'as have we made to Allah? He's answered, but we forgot what those du'as were. I know I've got so many du'as that previously Allah's answered, but if you tell me, Hannah, list all of them, I probably won't be able to because I forget, but Allah never forgets. And that's how kind our Lord is. So you might be saying, Hannah, I've been making dua for marriage for quite some time, but I'm not married yet. Why? I'm putting my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's so beautiful that you're putting your trust in Allah. Keep doing that. Keep putting your trust in Allah al-Wakeel. Hand it over to Him. When we hand it over to Him, we're no longer attached to the outcomes. We know that we're going to do the best we can. That means we're going to seek out the resources. We're going to learn about ourselves. We're going to learn how to start a conversation. We're going to understand our values and what's really important to us. We're going to know who's a match and who's not an appropriate match. We're going to know how to initiate a relationship with someone. We know all of those tools, right? Go out and seek that information and that knowledge. And on top of that, we're going to take action. We're going to tell our family we're ready to get married. We're going to seek out matchmaking opportunities and events and networking on opportunities and apps. We're going to try everything, but we're not linked to the outcome. Knowing that Allah, whatever you write for me is beautiful. Ya Allah, and I fully trust you that you're never going to let me down. And that's the most beautiful thing. A lot of ladies come to me and say, but what if it's not written for me, Hannah? What if it's not written for me? Do you actually know what's everything that's written for you? And if you keep thinking, what if it's not written for you? Then what a grim way to live your life. You're not going to be able to move forward. You've already closed the door before Allah has even opened it for you. So why do that? Instead, trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never let you down. Because when ladies say that, well, what if it's not written for me? Deep down, what that implies is, what if Allah lets me down? That's what you're actually saying. Allah will never let us down. When we truly understand Allah's name, Al-Wakeel, Al-Razak, Al-Wadud, and all of His beautiful names, we know that He'll never let us down. Do you think that Allah provides for us pieces of fruit and dates and everything that we have and He'll forget about our deepest desires and what we truly want? Never. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so kind with us and so rahim with us and so latif with us and so gentle with us and so ra'uf with us. He'll never let us down. He'll always give us what's greater for us. So how do we renew our contract with Al-Wakeel? The Prophet ﷺ taught us a way that we renew this beautiful signing and giving it over to Allah every day in Adhkar al-Sabah and Adhkar al-Masa, which is Hasbi Allahu la ilaha illa huwa alayhi tawakkaltu wa huwa rabbul arshil azim. We say that 7 times in the morning, 7 times at night. What does that go to show? It means we're reminding ourselves, Ya Allah, there's no one like you. I put my full trust in you. Ya Allah, I hand over my affairs to you. If we do that every morning consciously and every evening consciously, then we've given all our matters over to Allah. If you've loved today's name, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to me on YouTube and Instagram and tell me what you love and resonating from today's name. And until tomorrow, Assalamu alaikum.
تولوا فقل حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم.